and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Liz, anti-capitalist entrepreneur and business coach, and welcome to 2024. I can't believe it's already 2024. What is time? What has happened? Who knows? But there have been so many changes to the coaching and consulting online business space. So many changes that I'm sure you have seen over the past year plus. And in 2024, things are not changing. This is the time to truly adapt or get left behind, which is why I'm so excited to bring this topic to you today, because I wanted to talk about how you can better prepare yourself for the changes to the industry in 2024 so that you can get closer to hitting your income goals. So I'm going to share some super specific steps and also talk a little bit about my new program, the Offer Code, and how it is designed to literally help you navigate all of these new challenges. Because just like you, when I started my business back in 2020, I was so hopeful and had this vision for what it could look like. I discovered coaching for the first time, and it really changed my life and opened my eyes. I started a business and I started to see some success. I was signing clients here and there. Things were looking really good. But then come 2022, that's when I started to see things taking a turn that was a bit unexpected. And other people started noticing this turn as well. And then come 2023, the decline continued to go, and people everywhere are starting to see how the industry has changed, and for the better, I want to add. But it's changed dramatically over the past few years, and business as usual just is not working. And that's actually a really good thing, because business as usual was kind of crappy. So this is actually a perfect time to change all of that crap, to get rid of a lot of bad habits that a lot of us have learned from trying to grow our businesses online, and to just get back to the basics. This is what led me to develop my In the Moment Reels workshop, where I help participants to go from an idea to a posted reel in 10 minutes or less. The creation of that workshop started from me deciding in 2023 that it was time to get back to the basics, to just go back to the drawing board, start from scratch, and do things in a way that actually made sense for me, and also made sense for how business has been for hundreds of thousands of years, right? It's like business predates capitalism, like trade, exchanging value for value. When we get back to that basic level, that is really when the magic happens. So let's go ahead and get started so that you are prepared for how to handle what's happening right now and what's going to continue to happen into 2024. The first thing you're going to want to do in 2024 is make sure that in your business you are selling a solution to a specific problem. Too many of us are selling solutions to vague problems, and it makes everything, including and especially selling, so much more exhausting and difficult, because you only have this vague idea of the problem that you're trying to help someone with. And when you only have a vague idea of a problem that someone has, it becomes so much harder to try and sell the solution. But when you are selling the solution to a specific problem, it becomes easier to articulate what it is that you're offering. It becomes so much simpler to connect your offer to your content, because you can easily flow from what your content's main focus is and your ideas to your service and how you're helping people, because you know the specific problem that you're providing a solution for, and you know exactly who you're talking to. That means that we are getting rid of the buzzwords like helping people to find ease, to thrive, to whatever. Like, no more vagueness, because vagueness no longer sells. And getting to a specific problem is what people are actually paying attention to right now. Listen, I have been selling one-on-one business coaching for years at this point. And even I did experience some success when I started my business in 2021 and even a little bit in, the first half or so of 2022, I was still selling vaguely. Like, I wasn't selling to solve a specific problem. I was using these words like, I will help you thrive, I will help you find ease. But what does that even mean? Because these words mean different things for different people. And depending on the particular problem that they're dealing with at any given point in time, how are they supposed to know if what it is you're helping them to find ease with is actually the issue that they have? Like, how do they know that? And then also, we have to take into consideration the fact that so many people now have gone through these programs that have promised these vague generalities and did not deliver, and often came with very high price tags. So people are already fed up with spending so much money on these programs that overpromise and underdeliver. So we need to get specific. I had sold my one-on-one business coaching very consistently. Like, as a Capricorn, listen, consistency was never an issue. And I saw that it wasn't until I actually started to sell something specific, deciding to narrow down and focus on reels, that's when I realized, oh wow, like there actually is a big difference between selling something vague and selling a solution to a specific problem that people have and are dealing with, and speaking to the experience that they have. Because when you're able to speak to that experience, then people know that you deeply understand what they're going through, you understand their problem, and then they're more likely to trust that you can actually help them. Now, if you're unclear if what you're selling is vague or specific, here's a quick test. Pretend that you're telling someone to do improv. So if you don't know what improv is, people have to act out a scenario. So pretend that you have to tell someone to act out what it is that you're helping them to do. If what you're telling them you're helping them to do, I help you to thrive, I help you to find ease, I help you to whatever, find your northern light, whatever. If you can imagine that someone would actually need to take a few minutes to think about it first before they can act it out, then that means that what you are selling is too vague. If what you are selling is clear, that means someone would be able to act it out in an improv very quickly. Like, it would be as simple as acting out how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, acting out how to shovel some snow. Like, so that's a quick test that you can use. So ask yourself, or even try yourself, to write down what it is that you're helping someone to do, what problem you're helping them to solve, and then see if you can act it out. Pretend that you're doing an improv. And if you're struggling to figure out how you can create it, if you have to sit there and think about, oh, well, how would this look, or what would this look like? That's a big giveaway that what you're selling is too vague and you need to get specific. So not only does your problem have to be specific, but it also needs to be simple. You need to be solving a simple problem, because if the problem that you're trying to help someone with is really vague, that also means the solution will be very vague. So not only will it be hard to articulate the problem you help people with, it'll be exhausting to try to figure out what the solution is to that problem as well. And you won't feel confident selling it on a regular basis. And think again about the landscape that we're in. We have so many people who have gone through these programs with these vague, the vague things that they're selling, or programs where they just straight up overpromise, just overpromising, promise you things like getting fully booked in 6 months, hitting 6 figures, all this stuff, right? These overpromises that are specific, they're not vague, but because they're so big and complex, most people aren't able to attain them because it's a complicated it's a complicated problem to solve for. It involves many moving parts. So you want to make sure that the problem that you are helping people with is not just specific, but it's also simple. Because if you are clear on the problem and you are confident that you can solve it because the solution is simple for you, then you will be confident selling it. We do not want to continue to perpetuate this, what we have right now in the online business space, of people signing up for programs and not getting the results that they came for. This culture of over promising and under delivering has got to go. And we're leaving that behind in 2023. We are not taking that forward with us. So make sure that you're solving specific problems that are also simple problems so that you can provide solutions for them and actually get your people results, because that is what's going to make the difference between the businesses that survive into 2024 and beyond and those that don't. Those who are able to actually deliver on the results that they promise are the ones that will make it. Otherwise, it's just not going to work out. It's not going to work out. And the reason why you're not able to confidently sell your offer, especially on a consistent basis, is because internally you're taking this into consideration. You're thinking about how hard it is to articulate, what your people are struggling with. You're thinking about how hard it is to articulate the solution that would help them move forward. So you're inevitably already thinking about how exhausting it would probably be to actually try and help someone, to work with them to achieve that outcome. So all of that is weighing on you, which makes selling and launching so exhausting and such a frustrating experience, where you're always second guessing and overthinking what it is you want to say and how to actually sell your offers. So for instance, I remember my very first car that I bought was this green 2000 Hyundai Sonata. And I paid for it, I think it was like $5,000 cash in my very first car. And even though I was so excited to have my very own first car, needless to say, it did not take too long before the thing started breaking down, like every 3 months or so. Like, I just knew to expect that something was going to break down and that I would need to fix it. So every time I would, start the car or like leave for work and head towards the parking lot, I would get this sense of like, not dread, but just this what if of like, oh, what if there's an issue? What if my car doesn't start today? What if I'm gonna have to have it towed from my work parking lot for like the 3rd time this year? All that stuff made me not feel confident in this car's ability to drive. Versus my car now, which is a 2021 Honda Civic, I feel very confident getting into that car. I don't for one second think right before I get into it, what if it doesn't start today? What if there's a huge bill I have to pay for in the next 3 months? I don't think about that, because if that were to happen, it would probably mean that something went catastrophically wrong. So I'm not expecting that. Versus with my old car, it was like, okay, I know this thing's gonna break down again any minute now, because this is just what it does. So the way that I approached driving, my experience of driving that green car, that 2000, versus driving what I have now, very different. And the same thing works for selling. If you're not confident in the car you're driving and the offer you're selling right now, then you're not going to want to sell it. You're not going to want to drive it. You're going to be a little bit wary. You're going to be overthinking. You're going to be second guessing. It's going to take a while. It's not going to be that fun, light experience that is required to consistently sell in order to get to a point where you can build your client base. In order to sell a solution to a specific and simple problem, that means you're going to want to get feedback from your audience about what it is that they actually need help with. Feedback's important. And right now, you're guessing what it is that your people actually want and what they want help with and what they need. Or maybe you're trying to ask them questions, little polls here and there to get some helpful feedback, but it's just they're either not responding or what they do respond with doesn't really provide clarity. And that's unhelpful, because getting feedback helps you to be able to clearly identify what it is that your people need so that you can give it to them. For instance, when I was creating my In the Moment Reels workshop, I had feedback conversations with at least like 3 3 or 4 different people, specifically talking about the experience that they had with Reels. And after conversation like 2, I started to see a pattern emerge, almost in a creepy way, to the point where people would say the issues that they had with Reels, the same things. They would say the same things over and over and over again. So it got to a point where it became undeniably clear what their issue was with it and what they needed help with. And I was able to provide that solution, which was why it became so easy and simple to sell my Reels workshop. So you'll want to get feedback from your audience so that you can understand their unique pain points, their unique issues, that you can provide them the unique solution to match. If I hate my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because I don't like the texture of peanut butter, of the peanut butter I use, then your solution should not be a recommendation to use a different type of jam, because the issue was not the jam, the issue was the peanut butter for me. Get it? You want to make sure that you understand the unique pain point that your people have, and you get to understand that deeply when you actually have conversations with them, which is why in the offer code, the feedback protocol that I walk you through is helping you to have those feedback conversations with people, to ask story building questions that provide you with so much clarity on what your ideal client's specific issue is, so that you can provide a simple solution that actually gets you excited and motivated to sell naturally because it makes complete sense. And then you actually end up creating an offer that your ideal clients want, versus spending so much time guessing at it, trying to pressure yourself to just sell the thing in your content. And in actuality, what ends up happening is overthinking yourself into an oblivion and never selling, or you create a bunch of content and burn out and you're still not selling and you still don't get the result that you're looking for. This is what separates the offer code from, say, a regular messaging program. Regular messaging programs are important. There is 100% a place for messaging, but messaging people are going to ask you what it is, what's the problem that you're solving for. So you have to make sure that foundation is crystal clear to you so that you can then play in the world of messaging and marketing, and also make all of your marketing so much less exhausting and your selling just so simple, so that you actually have the capacity to take on clients that you can actually help them get the results they want, so that they come back to work with you or refer other people to you. Like, this is the part of business that has been lost over the past few years, because what traditional coaches right now have created are just this focus on marketing and sales, just getting people in by any means necessary, and then saying, well, screw their results, who cares about that? But that is actually not only is it a really crappy thing to do to your clients and to people in general, but it also creates this exhausting cycle of always having to fill a funnel, versus what business should be. Your ecosystem of people learning about you, being helped by you with your free content, and then as they continue to get results with you, the results they paid for and came for, they want to work with you again to get new results. They want to refer other people to you. Like, they become advocates for you. Like, that's the business that we want. Something that actually builds and uplifts our community versus just taking away from it. For 2024 and beyond, we are going back to the basics of business, back to the fundamentals. To recap, it starts by identifying a specific problem that you want to help people with, a simple specific problem that you want to help your people with, and then you help them with the solution. And you have feedback conversations to help you tweak the problem that you're solving for and your solution so that it's a perfect fit. All right. So if you are ready to create the offer that your ideal client actually wants, then I have spots open in my new program, The Offer Code. Use the link in the description box to book an interest call, and we'll chat. We'll make sure it's a good fit, and then you'll be off and running in 2024. All right. Take care.